Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our enthusiastic attendees this afternoon. Intersec and Innovatrics welcomes you to this webinar where we will discuss about the risks that the world faces as we go back to work. Whether your most crucial asset works at office or is working remotely, there are threats that need immediate action. Innovatrics is here to discuss more about smart face, digital onboarding, and how are they coming up with solutions to mitigate the risk of hybrid and remote work models. I would like all of you to introduce yourself, do mention your geolocation, feel comfortable in the chat box, and share your insight and information. This is your platform to network and engage and create more business. This afternoon, I am supported by very able speakers. I have Robert Izak, who's the channel manager and product evangelist for SmartFace with Innovatrics. He comes from the engineering background. He's been responsible for expanding the business development of facial recognition in the region with certified partners. He has vast experience in the IT products and cloud computing products. So we are very eager to listen to him and learn more. Along with him, I'm very happy to welcome Shakeel Parkar, who's portfolio manager with King Abdullah University of Science and Technology. He's an experienced and seasoned project specialist and has led major successful projects for KAUST. I would also like to remind you that we will be publishing a poll question, and I encourage all of you all to please participate and give your feedback on the question. I'm now ready to welcome Robert on stage, and it's over to you, Robert, eager to listen more about Innovatrics and SmartFace.
Thank you. Let me share my screen first, and let me switch to my PowerPoint presentation. Hopefully everything is visible now. Thank you very much for the introduction again, and everybody welcome on today's webinar, where over next maybe 25 to 30 minutes, we will discuss the digital transformation the companies had to face over the last 18 months. What does it mean, the hybrid work model, and what are the preferences, pros and cons, as well as what are the expectations from back to the office, either from the employees as well as from the CEOs, security and operations officers, which are facing a lot of headaches. We will introduce the tools for the smooth enrollment, as well as the tools for the safe and secure hybrid workplace. Before I go any further, let me introduce Innovatrics. We believe in a world where people can instantly trust other people relying on the right technology. We are a privately owned company based in Europe, in the European Union, with operations worldwide. We have more than 150 employees with our R&D, with own algorithms and SDKs, supporting three main modalities: fingerprints, irises, and of course, a face. We are on the market more than 16 years. And since that, we have delivered more than 500 projects globally with our partners. Our business model is very simple. We work with our partners to deliver the solutions for the end users. We support our partners with the best biometric technology, with the architecture, with trainings, as well as with the marketing or sales activities. Let me also welcome you and to join to our Innovatrics Partner Program. If you go to innovatrics.com/partners, you will see the partner sections, and you are very welcome to join our partner program. Let me introduce also our product portfolio, which stands on the four main pillars. We have our own R&D team supporting and creating our own algorithms, and engineering team building our own SDKs. We have also proprietary OCR engine that helps us to process and read IDs globally. We have trained the OCR for different alphabets, including Latin, including Russian, Vietnamese, as well as Arabic, and of course Chinese. So this is a big achievement for us as well. Digital Onboarding Toolkit is a solution for remote identity verification of the user, and the SmartFace is the solution for face recognition over the IP camera streams or over the offline video files, processing the streams and providing information about the users instantly. And to fulfill the whole biometric ecosystem we can provide to our partners to solve the most challenging use cases, of course, we have our flagship solutions, ABIS, or Automated Biometric Identity System, that supports large-scale databases, consider millions or billions of users and records, usually border control, voters registration, or investigation, and also solutions for enterprises and small and medium businesses, solving various challenges and use cases from access control to digital enrollment of the users. And just a snapshot of our key references, we are very proud we can deliver the technology to the Ministry of Interior of Southeast Asia country, Indonesia, which is almost 200 million country. Everybody has a 10 fingerprint face, so database larger than 2 billion records is being used for police investigation over Indonesian 17,000 islands. For example, also, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is using our ABIS for the border control, or the Home Credit, which is the biggest microloans provider in Southeast Asia, providing the loans remotely to their customers, processing approximately 100,000 verifications every day. And let me now discuss a little bit more about the digital transformation we all have seen over the last 18 months. Let me just put this on Do Not Disturb. And what we have seen over the last 18 months, literally, we've seen that the decades happen in weeks. Here is the zoom, our very nice body over the last 2 years. So we had to face almost every day, and their stock price. As you could see, it clearly copies the first wave and the second wave of the COVID, and also brings many new habits into the life of common employee. And here maybe I would like to ask Shakeel if you can join the conversation, and how did you react, or what was happening over the last 2 years, especially in KAUST, as you know, it's a university, and how did you face these very difficult times, especially managing your employees, your students, and everybody?
Thanks, Robert. Well, lucky for us, at KAUST, we started, so I work for the security department, so my boss is the VP of Government Affairs, and my role is basically to make sure that their digital transformation happens in a much faster way. So lucky for us, pre-COVID, we started with our digital transformation. So we had a lot of paper-based processes all over. So for example, if we have a number of patrol vehicles, if they're changing shift, there's paperwork in that. So what we did very fast was we digitally transformed most of them. And as you know, Robert, we got the facial recognition program in about 2.5 years ago. We started it about 6 months prior to COVID. And once COVID struck, we were ready for it. We just knew exactly how we were going to deal with the situation. So, yeah, I guess KAUST just got lucky with that.
Yeah, thank you. And as we will see, and we will introduce also the KAUST use case in greater detail, it was very challenging, and we had a lot of fun, but at the end we achieved a very nice use case. So let me share my screen back, and let me switch to my presentation. Yeah, over the last 18 months, almost 2 years, employees might start to think, well, okay, this is going to be forever. We're going to get in our home office till the rest of our life. Unfortunately, especially the company owners, CEO, directors, they see that there is not always perfect to keep the whole company remote. People are losing the interest for the company values, for the company culture. They're losing interactions. Good ideas simply disappears. And it all leads simply to the productivity lack and drop. On the other side, we also know that this is not going to end forever. Therefore, also corporations are preparing smoothly and slowly returning their employees back. Even we have now the Delta variant, which is doing a lot of headaches to many countries. Enterprises, and as the vaccination is also progressing, planning to returning slowly their employees back to the offices, or at least majority of the employees. And the hybrid model that combines the home office with the office premises seems to be as a win-win situation for everybody. This is the research done by PricewaterhouseCoopers, which clearly determines that the majority of employers looking for the return of the employees to the office, to keep the pace back, especially in terms of creativity, meetings, interactions. On the other side, more than 55% employees as well willing to see their colleagues, having at least a little bit similar schedule and commuting as they had before, partially during the week. 2-3 days a week, that's a sweet spot that everybody prefers.
Robert, at KAUST, we're piloting a new remote work policy. So they're giving us a generous 40 days work from anywhere in the world and a flexible 20 days of hourly. So if you want to log on 4 hours of the day from somewhere else, you can just do that in the system now. So it's very adaptive. So it's a pilot program for now, which could get as a permanent benefit for KAUSTians.
Yeah, and it's very well accepted. Also, we have the same policy, new policy in our company, and everybody really enjoys that. On the other side, if you go here over 3 to 4 days a week, office is full. People are really enjoying, interacting and working with the colleagues, working on the new ideas. That's something uncomparable when we compare fully, of course, remote work. And let me now show you. Try to imagine that we are into the hybrid model. We prepare into the hybrid model. Over the last 2 years, many corporations and many companies simply started to hire people from all around the world, as the many positions can be fulfilled remotely. And with the right solutions, you can pre-process pretty much whole new hire application in advance. We have tools for processing either IDs, passports, visas, whatever kind of documents we can train. Of course, supporting a local language, including Arabic. And we have the very nice framework for picturing the ID and cropping the face from the ID as well as the details from the ID. In the second step, we have a solution for taking the selfie. We navigate the user to make a best possible selfie by measuring the quality of the face and also of the surrounding environment. And then our framework compares the selfie with the ID image, as well as we run several liveness checks to make sure that the user is live person and is not spoofing. At the below line, you can see several references. Next week, Vodafone Oman is rolling out a new e-channel, including our digital onboarding toolkit framework. Or, for example, Karim, the hailing company, is using our framework for registration of the drivers and then verification of the drivers. Together, for example, with Saudi Aramco, which use our framework for verification and enrollment of the employees. They provide the healthcare, or simply for application for visas when you travel to Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
So at KAUST, we've actually started this project about 2 weeks back. What we're trying to do is we want to have a virtual ID office. So we don't have a physical place for people to come in, take an appointment, get their IDs done. So if you think of it, what does an ID operator actually do? They actually check if you're this person, and then they ask you to smile, they ask you to take out your glasses, and they say, here's your photograph, and this is your physical ID. So at KAUST, we inherited the digital ID about 2 years back, so we're ready for this. And what this is going to do for us is we're going to pretty much have our employees and families and dependents take their, they can have their self-service ID before they even travel to Saudi Arabia. So we're actually doing that right now by the HR relocation advisors actually picking up the pictures and sending it physically in an email or in a workflow to us. But eventually, this is what we plan to do. And this project's destined to happen in the next 2 months, hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that example. This is the full HR onboarding, including ID processing. There can be also more simple use case, and that is to add either existing employee or the visitor or the partner or contractor very quickly to the watch list. And we have also dedicated application for that. Of course, once you create your watch list, you can upload thousands of faces directly via that job, but it's always good to have the most recent image of the user with and without the face mask including, as well as to collect the user's consent either for some sort of Privacy Act or GDPR, which is very, very strict here in Europe. That means during the enrollment, user also provides consent that his or her face can be used for accessing the premises or any other security-related actions. And let me now switch to my mobile demo, and I will show you quickly the enrollment of the user by scanning his ID or her ID. And then I will show you also the registration application for the watch lists. We have this application called Innovatrics DOT, or Digital Onboarding Toolkit. You will find it on the Google Play as well as on the App Store. And we showcase here the full onboarding use case. At the first step, it starts with scanning the ID like this. And the second step, we provide a selfie. We take a selfie from the user. And at the end, we will run the liveness check. We have several methods of liveness check, making sure the person is a live person. So let me just start. At the first step, we scan the ID document. Everything is automated. User doesn't have to press the button. We will navigate the user to go and do the actions we recommend according go towards the light and so on. Also the back side. Yep, everything happens automatically because once you hit the button, usually you shake your hands tremendously. Here is my details of my ID. What we have done, we crop the face. We can estimate age and gender, so it can be used for validation across the ID, and for the validation also across the MRZ fields. Each field has its confidence field. So, for example, if the user has damaged or dirty ID, you can ask him to take the image of his ID again. I can review. I can compare details. What we also do, we can check if the ID is not tampered, means photoshopped, or stick over with different layers, like different images or text fields. So that was the first step, the processing of the ID. The second step, we ask user for the selfie. Again, we navigate user what he or she is supposed to do. We don't let him to make any bad image. So like you see here, I just move closer. The selfie has been taken, and the second liveness check. Camera scans my eyes if I follow the red dot in the right direction. And that's it. What actually happens is we compare the ID image with the user selfie. We have run the liveness check called passive liveness, neural network based. So neural network evaluates according one frame if he's a live person or not. And we have also active liveness check where we scan user's eye gaze if it follows the directions of the object on the screen. Of course, it can be your logo or your customer's logo and so on. Once I am enrolled, I can simply log in like this. I am verified. Camera sees my face. I can enter the application. If the camera doesn't see my face, we blur the content. This can be another security feature you can implement, especially for home office environments, for remote offices, for offices globally, because this is the best way how you can protect the content. You can use this for examinations of the students, so you make sure that the right person is sitting in front of the camera. So once my face is visible, as you can see, it's clear again. If I try to cheat it, let's say with a printed image like this, wait a second, you see the liveness check is failing. Yep, very nice, very easy, the best possible seamless experience we could achieve. That was the full ID processing with identity verification. There can be also a little more soft or quicker method. You can send a link to your partner, to your visitor. They hit the link, they click on the registration button, and similar steps can be fulfilled again, here in this example without scanning the ID. So I will just enroll with my face. Okay, next. I fill out my name, for example, James Bond. My ID 007. Okay, next. I agree with the GDPR consent or Privacy Act consent. I click here, finish. And my face has been registered into the watch list. Let me showcase our Smart Face application, section watch list. If I refresh the site, as you can see, my face appears in the watch list. Once I enter the premises, as I will show you in a while, face is recognized and the access is being allowed. Very easy, very quickly to do. I will delete myself as I am already enrolled, not to damage our watch list. That simple, that very nice user experience. You can enroll people remotely very quickly, making sure they're live persons, and the persons also, they claim their identity is. We can move now from the enrollment to securing the hybrid office itself. We all know that there are several rules that really works to fight the COVID. Number one is vaccination. Unfortunately, not every person can be vaccinated due to various health reasons, or sometimes people simply don't want to, as they have some doubts about security. Therefore, we still need to fulfill the policies wearing a face mask to protect ourselves and other people, getting the personal hygiene, as well as to monitor number of people and watching the distance of them. And with the right tools, we can easily fulfill such conditions. The purpose of the office has changed tremendously, especially when we consider the hybrid model. I can see it also in our company. People coming here for 2-3 days a week, and they try to really spend the day as productive as possible with their colleagues, bringing new ideas. Generally less desks, more spaces, more meeting rooms, bigger, more airy, many tools for checking the quality of the air, and any other factors. Seamless security and access control is definitely required, as people don't want to touch or interact with any devices. Of course, the same methods should apply not only for physical premises, but the same level of security should be implemented in the home office, including the attendance tracking. So as I showed you a little while ago, the solution can also work, the digital boarding toolkit, that the user starts his day simply using the selfie to log into work, and this way employers can have very nice overview about the time spent. On the other side, such nice offices and new environments brings new headaches and challenges for the security and operations. They will have to face the very new methods of access violations, maybe tailgating, as well as identity thefts and frauds. And of course, with the right setup and with the right tools, you can easily mitigate such risk and provide the best possible user experience to your clients. The solution is a smart face. As I mentioned at the beginning, smart face is a server platform capable to process multiple cameras or offline video files simultaneously, detecting multiple faces, extracting the face templates, as well as sending for matching. Everything happens pretty much instantly within milliseconds. The only trigger is your server sizing and the use case you want to achieve. Such solution needs to fulfill several specifics. As we understand that each project is a little bit different, very often there is no greenfield project, so you simply need to interact and integrate with the existing environment. Therefore, the solutions needs to be hardware agnostic. It should solve the real-world situations. I will be repeating myself, but experience is very important for the users, and as well as to have a complete feature set to fulfill any use case scenario in terms of security, access, or protecting your premises. What does it mean, hardware agnostic? As you can see on this diagram, we can consume any IP camera, USB camera, offline or online video file, regardless the brand. The SmartFace platform can run on either Windows or Linux environment. We also support embedded NVIDIA cards. That means embedded projects, remote projects. SmartFace detects the faces on each frame, its process, and provides such information to the third-party applications via REST API or ZeroMQ. So it's not only hardware agnostic, it's also fully a software or programming language agnostic, so you can use any kind of programming languages. Or you don't have to at all, as we provide ready-to-use tools and applications that can solve common use cases and situations, and I will introduce them on the next slides. The real-world situations is very often different than the benchmark. Even we are very proud on our NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology benchmark, for identification or search for 1 to N, which claims that we can search 12 million databases just within 13 milliseconds. The reality is much more very, very difficult. Camera doesn't always have the right position. You have very often the background light and many other details are too dark. And the right algorithm, right setup, right support can solve it all. We push a lot for a seamless experience. As we believe that this is the right way, users don't want to interact with the devices, terminals mounted on a wall, placing the RFID cards, maybe fingerprints. The seamless experience is bringing new opportunities also to our partners and their customers. Of course, it works with a face mask, and of course, notifications can be displayed over any device, as I will introduce on the next slides. This seamless experience use case was being implemented also in the KAUST campus, Smart Campus, and I will again ask the Shakeel. I also was personally here. That was my last business trip in the KSA. And I really have to say that your use case was one of the most challenging we were facing till then. And share with us your insights, or why have you decided to implement such use case, and maybe your experience with different methods.
Right. Let me back it up a bit. So at KAUST, we're using SmartFace for about 2.5 years now. So what do we use it primarily for? We have a lot of workers that go in and out every day. So initially what we would do is we would have them go through speed styles. So they'd put their ID, physical ID, they'd put their fingerprint, and then the door would open and they'd go through. So when facial recognition, when we got Smart Face, so we said, okay, let's see if the faces work. To our surprise, we really did not even do a single campaign for re-photographs. We actually used the photographs which we had on file in the ID office. So that was the biggest surprise for a lot of us. The odd people that would get issues, we would just on-site, on an iPad, refresh the photograph, and the officer would, with the right access, would just replace the photograph in the ID system, and it works like a charm. So that's what we primarily use it for. And then we started to start playing around, saying, okay, why don't we have a drive-through experience? So for example, what you see here is a Yukon pulling over. That's the main gate of KAUST Gate 1. When you come in here, what you do is you actually show your physical card, and the officer takes a visual look at you and the person and the ID, and then makes a judgment call whether this is the right person or not. What we did was we installed 4 cameras. So you see these 2 cameras on the left side, there are 2 cameras on the right side. When you roll in, you just need to give a small kind of profile of your face, and it actually picks it up and it matches you. So it'll say, this is Shakeel Parkar, this is his wife, this is his daughter, whoever has IDs get detected. So it works for only 4 people. So for example, the people on the sides next to the windows will get detected, the others won't. So when we started this journey, a lot of skeptics in KAUST said, no, but it doesn't work for everyone. How do we do that? So we actually did, we actually sat down and had an officer, just mark how many people actually come into KAUST every day. So we found out that 85% of people that drive into KAUST are less than 2. So passenger and the driver. So a lot of drivers and the passenger sits at the back. So it was, for our use case, it made a lot of sense. And then we enhanced our internal systems to have something called digital IDs, which you could push a digital ID through to an iPad, and we could do that. So what we use it there is primarily for assisting the officers take a decision, right? It's not an automated gate by any means. It's just, it gives the officer a lot more processing where he says, okay, this guy is Shakeel, I don't need to see his ID anymore. So those kind of things. So the challenges was really funny. I remember we spent countless hours. A lot of people spent countless hours on it. When Robert was there, I think he spent 6 hours in a summer day. In a summer night, we were there all night trying to figure it out with Obaid, I still remember. Very fun times. A lot of it has to do with camera angles. These are IR cameras. How does the night vision work? So we had the IR cameras working in the night, and then Robert, with his experience, said, you know what, you don't even need it. It's bright enough. So we actually switched off the IR cameras, and it worked just on light mode. So it's a lot of playing around with this. So we're still getting there. I don't think we're there 100%, but because of COVID and when masks came, we have the older version of SmartFace. We don't have auto learn and all that. So that's an upgrade which we're going to do in the coming few weeks, hopefully. Yeah, exciting times.
Thank you. That reminded me exactly my last business trip was in KAUST. Then 2 weeks later, everything got locked. and we had a really interesting times. But once the technology has been set, tuned, the right threshold, everything works perfectly. And I'm looking forward once you switch to the latest version, where especially for the use case with the face masks on, we have developed so-called watches auto learn. What does it mean?
Auto learn, the way I saw it was just unbelievable. It captures the latest 50 photographs of every person, and then you with a mask, you without a mask, your latest profile pic with the beard, without a beard. It's just unbelievable. The algorithms on this are really good. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. I will just add that at the end we have prepared the showcase of the KAUST access control. It's ready for the end of the presentation, so please keep tuned. And here I would like to explain the watches auto learn in greater extent. User enrolls either with a 1 or 2 selfies with a face mask, and then each day algorithm keeps tracking me, detecting myself, opening the doors, which we are having here in the Innovatrics, and the most different detection of my face from very different angles is being added to the master watch list. This helps us, especially in these difficult times with people wearing a face mask covering 2/3 of their faces, to provide pretty much the same level of accuracy as without wearing a face mask. So really this has been built for very challenging situations, and I will show you in a while on a live demo how does it work and what you can expect from such technology. On top of that, we have also delivered a passive liveness check, as you could see on a smartphone, that we don't let user that is spoofing with different methods, and people are very creative. We have implemented similar method also for the IP cameras to prevent unauthorized people to spoof your system. Works very well. Of course, we provide evaluation version, and you can contact us anytime to test and evaluate. And we have also, least not last, complete feature set to support such a very nice hybrid model use case. And this feature set we provide to our partners. They'll give you options without any huge integrations, custom development, to roll out the access control or security use cases, including biometrics, for you or for your clients. As I already introduced, the access registration application, which either by processing ID or simply taking a selfie can quickly enroll the user into the watch list, remotely or by assistance. Yep, that was what you have seen a little while ago. And of course, we have a ready-to-use access control and security station application for you and for your clients. When I talk the security stations, we preview the cameras from the scene. Every time we detect the person or human body, we provide a notification. If the person's face is also on the watch list, we provide information about who is the user. Not everybody, and also I will show you the live demo from the office in a while, is on the watch list, of course. People has to agree here. Real-time notifications can help you to act very fast and very quick way to protect your premises. For access control, we have another dedicated application as well, ready to use, providing only notifications if everything is okay, or if we detect the authorized person or simply person that is trying to spoof the access control, if we consider that the access control point is not monitored by any security guys. So you can set up the different strategy with this access application, meaning you don't let the people who are not wearing the face mask in, and many other. I will show you on the next slide. And on top of that, of course, we deliver the feedback display. That means we generate simple HTML website with the information about the user, greeting message, happy birthday, or user is not allowed to enter. You can embed pretty much into any device, tablet, smartphone, screen, terminal, kiosk, you can name it. As this is pretty much hardware and software agnostic for implementation. And now the nice part starts. I'm going to switch to the demo from our office. So I will spend a few seconds in front of the cameras we have here in our office. Let me just move there really quickly. You will see me on the camera called Gates, and I will come just from behind the corner. It's definitely configurable where we want the user to have his face or her face detected. As you could see here, my face has been detected immediately. We also provide the age and gender estimation, the status if the user is wearing a face mask or not, providing details like a face quality, watch list details, and many other metadata you can implement. We don't provide
Robert, you're not 36, Robert.
Yeah. I'm 40. Oh my God. Yeah, of course, it's estimation, and you need to consider that I'm staying like 7 meters from the camera approximately. So this is the input we process. It's very useful, especially for retail analytics. Once the user is being detected, and we provide also detections of human body, so it can be used for monitoring areas for security and other details. Then it works perfectly with the face mask on. So if I put my face mask on here, as you can see, and we are streaming live, as you can see, people are walking around. Once I put my face mask on, again, face mask has been immediately detected. We even update here the image with the best possible quality available. Yeah. So this is the information. We don't really care if the user is wearing a face mask or not. For us, it's pretty much the same use case. Camera is mounted on a ceiling. This is not really good conditions for the access control, but as you could see, everything works just perfectly. I can even see the notification from different cameras. I can choose as a security person which cameras I want to see. You could see that there were colleagues walking around here. And I can also choose the layout of the application, the camera setup, and so on. So I can choose, for example, I don't want to see pedestrians detections. I just want to see identified people. I can switch it easily. Yep. And I can also switch the view of the application itself. So for example, for the compressed view like this. But the most important part is that it works with the face mask on, without face mask on, simply whatever is needed. Let me also showcase the watch list part here. We have, for example, demo watch list here. We have the users. You can either add more images manually, or simply more appearances are being added as the user interacts with the technology. So if you will have a question, what about if I will gain 10 kilograms, or I will cut my hair, or I will get older, our applications can handle all of such situations. For simple investigation use cases, we provide also so-called history page, which we are developing significantly. And here you can filter very quickly, for example, for Robert, and I want to see all of my appearances across the watch list, for example. I can limit the application, for example, to see just the pedestrians detection, and so on, and so on. All of those details can be used, of course, for time and attendance, for access control, or for many other characteristics and statistics, like for retail analytics. You can see the flow of the people coming through your premises, and you can prepare your marketing campaigns accordingly. What to display, to whom, at what time. Very simple. And here is the access control station, which acts a little bit different. We don't want the users to get overshooted with the notifications. Therefore, it works just the way if I will walk in front of the camera, you will see the notification of myself that I appeared there. Exactly like this, yeah? So we don't want to hassle. Everything is okay. Robert is on the watch list, demo watch list. And exactly as I appeared here on this tab, my face has been detected, and we have provided information about myself. Very simple. As I said, we don't want to distract the user, which is usually like a security officer, with the notifications that are not relevant for him or for her. So that was pretty much a quick introduction of our security station and access station. As you can see, those are tools ready to deploy. You can install them on your premises, build the POCs, build your demos, or simply to run a very quick POC on your premises of your clients. Tools are ready, you just install it, and you are good to go. Now let me come back to my office to carry on with the other demos we have prepared for you, and with the other tools that are needed for a very, very challenging environment, especially to support the COVID use cases. And these tools are including especially in the situations where we cannot afford to carry the servers or laptops or whatever technology everywhere. This use case is very typical for construction or for remote areas, like you have one day you have the operations here, another day you have operations there. And for these use cases, we are using so-called cloud matcher or smart face cloud. What does it mean? The smart face matching engine is hosted in a cloud, and we are just submitting detected faces to get the notification who is the user. As we recommend in the classic deployment to process everything on premise, because to send the full HD video files from multiple cameras to the cloud can kill your network, sometimes much more smart solution is simply to send only the detected faces. So this is exactly what the cloud matcher is for, that it do the matching part in the cloud server. Let me show you the very quick demo, and then also I will ask Shakeel to share with us their experiences, because they have implemented this kind of method heavily. And I have also very nice showcase video from them to share with you what does it mean, cloud matcher. Cloud matcher demo. Let me just again switch to my smartphone, and let me describe, for example, the use case like you have construction workers. That means 1 week they work here, another day they work there. Usually you cannot carry suitcases with the servers and everything simply to process them. But what you can do, you can have a very simple application like this, ready to use. You just hit the identify button. And once such user is being detected the face, we crop the face and we send it for matching to the cloud server. So we don't send the whole stream. We just crop the face and we send it to the cloud matcher and we get the information about the user. Of course, it works very well with the face mask gone. We have made a lot of effort to also run such detector, facial detector that supports the face mask, also directly on the device. So this is a very nice use case, including the smartphone. So you can have, for example, security officer in the field. You can have a, let's say, supervisor on a construction, banquet, or some cultural event. And user can have just a tablet or simply any different wearable to support such use case. And we have also ported our technology into the Vuzix Blade glasses, which look exactly like this. Let me just put them on my head. And once I hit identify, now the camera in my left eye scans the environment like this. And for example, once it sees the person, that might be, we see immediately also the response. Such use case can be also used for a verification, for example. Like, for example, I will have a look on my ID. I can see the reference identity, and I can then compare also with a different user if it's really holder of the ID. So different variables, and our team can also make sure that it's being supported. We can run the technology also on very low-level spec devices like these blades. So face detection happens on devices. Cropped face is being sent to the cloud matcher for matching. So even if my face is visible like this, we provide information immediately. So this was the wearable demo. And before I give the word to Shakeel, let me share a very nice video I have from him, where we want to showcase how they have implemented such wearables, tablet, for very challenging situations. So I will play the video and then I will ask Shakeel to do maybe some comments or over the video. Let's shoot it out. This is the very common situation. Each morning in KAUST they have to process thousands of workers, seasonal workers or employees that come in and support the premises with different functions. Previously, they had to check them manually with their RFID card, and to process like approximately 1,000 people usually takes approximately an hour. With a different method, with a very nice solutions, you can do this very quickly. And here is also the KAUST lane, as you can have an imagination how the use case really look like.
I think the video is not streaming really well, but it's very impressive. Like, it detects a person in less than a second. So you're talking about millisecond detection. So at KAUST, we started with physical cameras, and that's what was our first use case. So we put it up, and we were looking at people getting detected. About 3 months later, we decided to do exactly what Robert was saying, just crop the face, send it through, so you can have it on a mobile device. So you could have it on your phone, you could have it on your iPad. So with the right access, as a security officer, if I have the right access, I could just go in front of a person, see their face, detect their face, and then it'll match it. In KAUST, we do 3 things. So the first thing is your name, which will be detected. The second thing is your ID number. And the third thing is what category you fall into. So if you're an employee, if you're a student, if you're a contract workforce, if you're a construction worker. So you got different color codes for quick detections. The first one you saw, this one is when pre-COVID, when the officer would go in and start detecting really quick. So very quickly you could you could do a whole bus of 50 people in a minute and a half. But then COVID came and then said, okay, let's get them out of the bus. So we just bought these really nice stands from Girir, put up the thing, got the people out of the buses, and we had like 10 of these. We have a lot of space in KAUST for these kind of things. So we had like 10 stations which are going on at the same time. And this is the drive-through. This is the challenging project which Robert was talking about. So yeah, I think, and then we even did with Vuzix glasses, we got the virtual reality glasses working. So if somebody approaches you up to 4 meters, you can detect the person, and inside the screen, you would know who this person is, the color code, the ID number, those.
Yes. Actually, you really influenced us and gave us a lot of insights, especially to build such use case with the cloud matcher. We have seen this first time implemented in KAUST, and when we have seen this, we say, wow, so this is so beautiful use case. You can grab any device, your existing tablets, you can use your existing smart face installation, just simply open the new ways how to interact with the users. You can buy a very good tablet for $200. It's uncomparable how much costs the full biometric terminal. It all usually costs around $1,500. And the functions are very limited, comparing with the classical methods. So yeah, a lot of inspiration, a lot of good ideas from our partners are coming, and this way also I would like to showcase the way how we work with our partners. We listen to feedback, and we are always trying to implement as much as possible into our existing solutions. So also the applications we have seen, they are not set in stone. This is the work in progress. Every quarter we are adding new features. We are improving our algorithms, as well as adding very nice use cases to support the use case.
This is the second partner we're working with. The first one was not giving us a good match rate, so it was giving us like a 70–80% match. And our security director, he said, I want a 0 false positive. That means I don't want to have a person wrongly detected. So we had to keep the threshold a little high. So with Robert, the good news is that every time you tell him I need this feature, 3–4 weeks later, he'll have it churned out and he'll give it to you in beta for testing. So I think Innovatrics is very fast. They're very agile. They listen, and if it makes sense to them, if you can convince Robert, it's in their next release, hopefully. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. And the last but not least, the access controller is a very nice tool, especially to manage remote access control endpoints. Use case in KAUST, it's a supervised use case. Yeah, there is a security officer holding the tablet, seeing information about the user. User needs to claim his identity, so there is a limited ways of spoofing. But if you have a fully remote area, for example, like our building, and you don't want to let other people to get in, plus you want to fulfill the COVID compliant restrictions, you need to have a middleware to fulfill with these restrictions and rules. So access control, it's a middleware running between the camera streaming and the server application, and this service is listening to all notification, filtering them out, and playing according to the guidelines. So for example, you can set within your organization that you open the access point only to the user that is on the watch list and is wearing a face mask properly. Otherwise, you don't open the door. What we also do with the access control, we measure the order of the users as they approach. We also measure their vector. So for example, if the first person is on the watch list and second person is not, first person steps away, we will not open the door to the second person. So we always make sure that the process and the access is simply managed according to the company policies. Yeah, so that was the last component I wanted to introduce for today. Together with our digital onboarding toolkit and smart face was the cloud setup. And yeah, that was the last slide of my presentation. And hopefully we can now switch to your questions in the website.
I think to summarize from my side, we're using two of the products from Innovatrics, Smart Face as well as digital onboarding. So that's what comes to you this one.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Shakeel. It was really informative. In fact, I myself have learned about passive aliveness and Cloud Matcher for the first time. Really interested. I think it's a path-breaking technology, and I'm sure after this webinar and in future, as Shakeel said, that you are very proactive, you can customize it as per the needs of the customer. I think we can see a lot more of this in the region. And moving on to the questions, we have quite a lot of questions, but I'll start with the most recent one, which was posted during the access controller time. It's from Mr. Leo Lopez, and he's asking, can this be integrated with CCTV cameras, and what is the operating system of CCTV is compatible with this interface?
Definitely yes. As mentioned, we support every camera brand, also CCTV cameras or IP cameras, how we call them. What we consume is the real-time streaming protocol, RTSP stream, which is a default for each camera brand. So you don't have to take care about the operating system of the camera. You just provide the RTSP stream, which we consume, and we process on the server side or on the PC side, depends on the use case and server sizing needed. So yes, it's a regardless of the operating system of the camera, because we just get the stream. And the stream can be online, or we can also consume and process any kind of offline video file. I would like to highlight that we can process approximately 10 times faster than the original footage. So 1 hour video taking us like 7 to 8 minutes to process. Of course, depends on the number of faces that appears in the video footage.
Great, thank you. There is another question from Mr. Keith Prentice. He's saying that if it identifies under a second, how is this affected by the size of the database it's checking against? I mean, how effective it is for the large volume of database?
Pretty much, there's no impact when we talk about the watch list or database size. What happens when I appear in front of camera, at first, algorithm detects my face, which usually takes like 200 milliseconds if we are considering regular CPU. If we will use a GPU, it will take approximately 20 to 30 milliseconds only. The second part of the processing is facial template extraction, which takes also another 200 to 300 milliseconds on a regular CPU. If we will use the GPU cards, again, it's like 10 times faster. And the last part is the matching. Matching is the fastest part, and we always do matching on CPU because it's very fast. So as I show on the benchmark, regular watch list size is tens of thousands users. It takes milliseconds. Consider 30 to 50 milliseconds to do the match. As I said, the matching part is really the least intrusive for the CPU. The most difficult part are always face detection and facial template extraction. So once you hear your use case, we also then recommend the right setup. Yeah, you can use the GPU for detection, the rest can run on the CPU. But it always depends on your use case. Majority of use cases, CPU is fine.
At KAUST, we have 7,500 watch lists, so 7,500 ID users. It takes us less than a second, so it's in milliseconds. So if we've used it, it works like a charm.
Yeah. From user's point of view, 200, 500 milliseconds, you cannot really realize that. And the majority of that below 1 second is the network transfer. If we would see just the processing time on the server, it's really, really pure milliseconds.
Great. So there's another relevant question, which even I wanted to ask, is from Mr. Maqsood Sayed, and he's asking if the system is capable of detecting a person's face in dark or low light conditions, and I would like to add in foggy or dusty conditions as well.
Of course. First of all, that was a very nice use case we had in KAUST. We were playing with the night vision mode, with the night mode, which we support fully. We don't have any difference. The input can be black and white or full color. At the end of the day, it was not even needed. The cameras could nicely see also in the lower light. And also, what I was presenting a little while ago, I was in pretty dark corner. I had a strong light from the side, and of course, it depends on the tuning of the setup and different other factors. But I would encourage you to download our smart face and test with your camera the most challenging conditions you have, and give us your feedback. We are very confident that with the right setup, with the right thresholds, even a low light use cases are not an issue at all.
Great. And Maqsood also has another question. He's asking if you can share a sample message if tampered ID is scanned in step 1.
There is no, well, what we provide in terms of digital onboarding toolkit, it's a framework for integration. So once you send such a tempered image of your ID to the server, you will get response for particular fields that with a very low score that indicates that the image or the part has been tempered. We can take this demo offline. I don't have it prepared right now, but I can show you offline exactly how does it look like per each field. We provide the confidence level and also the score for the tempered part. So we are giving like be careful, this part might be tempered, and ask user to make an image again or simply put the whole onboarding on hold.
Okay, thanks, Robert. There's another question from Mr. Bakhtiar Saeed. Can the smart face use through the APIs to design and implement our own attendance and security systems? And if so, what are the cost implications?
Yeah, definitely, smart face is the solution for integration, the same as KAUST has implemented into their visitors management system. So the demos I was showing in applications are for a quick start, for quick POC, for common use cases, but definitely through the API and through the notifications, you can build or you can integrate within your access control / time and attendance / security app.
So at KAUST, we have our own .NET visitor management system, and in that we've actually kept a complete record of every single time somebody gets detected. We just put his ID right next to it, and it's recorded as this is the time of entrance. So you can go back to it, you can export it to Excel. And to answer your second part of your question, what are the costs? They're very low. It's much lower than what we expected them to be.
Yeah, we can take this discussion again offline. Let's contact us. Let's listen to your use case, and we can, of course, prepare the pricing for you. Our price is not public. We always share it with our partners.
Sure. Okay, so there's another question. It's a long question, so I'll read it in parts. It's from Hayat Muhammad, and it's from how much distance the camera can detect the face, and if a registered person is standing in front of a non-registered person, the camera will detect and grant access to the person who's registered. But what about the tailgating person? How are you taking care of this? This is similar to how we use the barriers for cars, you know. Some of the cars without the cards also try to enter while doing tailgating. So how do you answer this issue?
Of course, let me take it step by step, and let me help myself with this slide. So first, let's discuss the distance from the camera. Yep. We don't work with a metrical system. We work with pixels. So first thing you need to realize is the resolution of your camera. Here, we stream the full HD resolution. That means 1920 pixels width. What does it mean? That my head has approximately 100 pixels width. And you can define on the application level how close or what should be the face size in order the face to be detected. So it's completely your choice. For access control use cases, it doesn't make a sense to set the face size very low because you would be catching faces walking around, which maybe don't even want to go or to enter the access point. So we set the face size based on the pixels, let's say 50 pixels, and that on full HD stream, it represents, let's say, 5 meters. Again, we have a tool, so you can measure the regular distance in comparison with the face size, but we work with the pixels. Of course, if I will stay 3 meters in front of the camera, I will look different on full HD in HD mode. Yeah? On HD mode, I will be much closer because less pixels are displayed. So this is very important to see. To the second part, when we discuss especially the tailgating, we have the access controller. Access controller is a middleware running between the access application and the SmartSys platform. When we detect all of the faces around or in the area we define, this is also possible. You can mask the area and ignore everything else. We detect the faces. We know who is first, who is second, who is third. So we have the order of the faces. And we also track them, what is their action. So if this person steps away and this person, second person, is not on the watch list, we keep the turnstile locked. Or you can set also different policies, how long that can be locked, and so on and so on. So this is exactly what it do. Also, you can set a strategy that only one face can be visible. So for example, if 2 people will be here and you detect two faces, then you can trigger the notification about the tailgating. But usually, the turnstiles and access points, they have sensors, physical sensors, and they will give you alert if 2 people are coming into the access point as well. So this is how you can easily protect the tailgating within your environment.
Great. Thank you for the live example. Very practical. There is another question, Robert. It's from Mr. Shaukat Hussain. He's asking, would it be possible for us to access the live activity and recorded data through the IP NVR at different systems away from our site office?
Yeah, I mean, through the network, either local network or through the VPN, you can consume the streams from anywhere, or you can send. SmartFace works with streams, but also with bunch of frames or with the images. So as we have this cloud matcher use case, we can detect faces through the smartphone, send them for matching, let's say, in any cloud server, and display the information on the other part of the world.
Great. This is a question for you, Shakeel, from Hazman Harun, and he's asking at KAUST, so all the students and staff members are required to do one-time enrollment first time before the real operation. Is it mandatory to do that first? You're mute. I'm sorry, Shakeel, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself? You are unable to. Okay, one moment. Mr. Hasman, we will get back to this answer. We will send it to you via email when Mr. Shakeel replies to it. And there's another question from Mr. Amir Ali. If a person is not identified, then what are the levels of alerts or suggestions the system brings out to the security?
Well, we provide notification, system notification. It can be secret alert the security officer reads on his phone. It can be alert you display on the screen of the tablet, as I show on the feedback display. Methods are different. Exactly what you envision. We provide a set of the tools. You can build it, or we can help you out, or you can use existing tools. But as I said, you can send the notification. You need to consider it's a message on the system level that can be transferred into SMS, into any alert on your internal systems. We have also direct integration with the video management systems, particularly Milestone, and also NX video management system, and they have also embedded notifications once such preset action happens. So yeah, different methods of alerting the notifications can be used.
That's great. And he has another question regarding if this technology is restricted only to time and attendance, or it is applicable to other areas in digital transformation in true sense.
It's not restricted to time and attendance only. I have showcased in terms of hybrid office, I have showcased how you can enroll the users remotely, how you can handle your security by seeing all of the faces and all of the human bodies detected. And I have showcased the access control and time and attendance because we talk about the office. But the technology can be used definitely for investigation. Those are another business or industry verticals we support as well. This use case was about the hybrid model and how to keep the premises safe and secure, of course.
Okay, so I think Shakeel is logged in back. Would you like to answer if everyone needs to register one time before the real operation, Shakeel?
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to do right now. So as part of security implications, we do a one-time registration. So you'd be able to go in, take a selfie, put your passport, and get your ID, KAUST ID, then automatically start for a human to intervene. So you won't have an officer actually say this person is with you and this is his ID. So that's in the pipeline in the coming few months.
Okay, thank you. I think there was some a glitch. I cannot hear you very clearly, but still we can answer this question by email again. Okay, so we are running out of time. I'll just take two more questions. There is a question from Al Imran Hussain. He's asking, in case of they work, supposedly there is a situation, there is a fire burning chamber. So they need physical surveillance system to work for this, or will this still work in those situations of smoke and everything?
We are biometrics company, so we do biometrics, face recognition, fingerprints, and all related. So detecting the fire is not really the biometrics, and existing camera solutions have these functions very nicely implemented. Yeah. So no, we don't do fire detection, but on the other side, we have on the roadmap, and we will really soon various object detection, especially needed for security, like detecting, let's say, big suitcases, detecting arms, detecting the objects that are suspicious. Yes?
Okay, great. And there is another question regarding the hardware. What kind of back-end hardware is required for your solution?
We of course, we have a server sizing according to the use case. We support either Linux or Windows. Of course, we support also NVIDIA Jetson, so ARM architecture. Generally, for a regular stream, consider full HD, 25 frames per second, we need 3 to 4 gigabytes of RAM for processing, and approximately i7 or i9 physical server core. So very low spec. You can process 1 or 2 cameras even on a laptop easily, or on a small, powerful PCs. This is really something we are very proud, and that's the hardware footprint that is needed. For majority of use cases, you don't even need a GPU at all.
And you don't have like it has to be a certain hardware. It's compatible with the most that's available in the market. Is that what you're saying?
No, it doesn't have to be a certain hardware brand. It's definitely you can use any kind of server and any kind of operating system. You just need to fulfill according to our server sizing. So if you decide you want to process 100 people within a minute, and everybody will be in a crowd, then we will recommend you different hardware setup. Then, for example, we will recommend you for the use case like access control, where 5 people pass the access points over 1 minute. Yeah. So we have all the tools. So we have all the server sizing that will help you to estimate this hardware footprint needed.
And another question for hardware is, does this have to be GPU, or it can work with the current CPU existing?
As mentioned, it really depends. For majority common use cases, you don't even need a GPU. GPU is needed especially for crowded areas where you need to process a high number of faces within a very short time. Yeah? So as I mentioned, the face detection and extractions are very, very CPU draining processes. So if you have crowds, yes, then we recommend GPU. For common use cases, like I was showcasing, everything was running on CPU only.
Okay.
At KAUST, we use only CPUs. We started with a GPU server, but then we just built this.
It was overkill for your use case.
Okay, great. So yes, there are questions about your product presence in the UAE, which are the dealers, and I think you can take that offline.
Yes, exactly.
You can answer those questions. We'll be sharing those questions with you, and you can connect with the attendee on a one-to-one basis. So there is another question, very light one. is that if someone decides to wear a monkey cap and come, this is posted by one of our attendees, and so will your solution work, or will it be like there will be some hindrances? If someone comes wearing a monkey cap, only the eyes are visible.
Then we trained our neural network to detect human faces. Okay. So it shouldn't work, but to be honest, I didn't try. But if we set the threshold very low, and if the use case will be that we need to also detect apes, then we can definitely make it. No worries.
Okay, and this is a technical question. What is the maximum dB size of your system installed?
As I showed the use case for Indonesia government, Ministry of Interior. Indonesia is the biggest Muslim country, almost 200 million people. Everybody has 10 fingerprints and face, so that's our largest reference database, over 2 billion records. Another worthy to mention is, for example, we provided ABs for Thai government in Thailand, which is a country with almost 70 million people, or border control for KSA with number of people and also visitors. So the number of watch list size is over 80 million. So they do deduplication and search against the whole database when you enter the KSA, the fingerprints and also the face. Okay. So just to give you a fraction.
So we just have 4 minutes left, so I'll just take 2 questions, and then we can take more questions.
I'm very happy that there's so many questions.
I am as well, but we have time constraints. So can this solution be hosted on cloud? I'm sure it can be, right?
Yes,
that is the question.
Can be, but you need to consider that especially you use Amazon or Azure, they charge you for the data upload, and that's the most significant item they will charge you.
Yeah, but it's seamless, right? It is one of the best.
Yeah. And if you have a good network, no issue. We support any environment. Great.
And have you implemented this solution anywhere in UAE in particular?
Yes, KAUST University, Emirates. I'm sorry. Yeah, we have also several partners. Currently, we are in the POC phases of several use cases. For example, our SDK is being used also by UAE government, especially for fingerprints. Currently, we are running a few projects for Ajman Client Center, for example, and many other projects.
Okay, great. It was wonderful. And to conclude on a lighter note, let me ask you one question, Robert. It's very silly. With so much of cosmetic surgery and facial enhancement going on, you think your solution can tackle that? It's very, very popular in the region, people going in for jawline or nose job or anything.
Our face recognition, like any other, actually works the way it measures distances from the tip of your nose to the corner of your eye and so on. So if you physically change your nose, then of course the verification threshold is going to be lower. Yep. Okay. On the other side, if you won't go plastic surgery, but you may, for example, gain 20 kilograms or you have a huge facial hair or whatever, your eyes won't move, your mouth won't move. Plus, considering our watch is auto-learn, we can handle such situations. The thing is,
we've handled everything in KAUST. We got Botox, we got kids aging from 10 years to 16 years, catches them all. Yeah. So we've seen it the last 2.5 years,
Yeah, but definitely if somebody changed physically his face, of course, the score will be different. On the other side, for investigation use cases, which are run by police, you can set the technology the way to be so strict that we can even recognize, the twins. On the other side, the user experience will be very, very different. Yeah, for such high-quality checks, we need to have also good quality inputs. So it's always trade-off between the user experience and the security you want to achieve.
Great. Okay, so this brings the end of discussion. I wish it could go on forever because I'm learning myself so much. I would just like to thank all our webinar sponsors and government associations and our key partners. For the last 15 months, we've used this platform to connect, share, and learn about new technology in the region. We will be coming out with our next schedule very, very shortly. UAE and Dubai welcomes everyone for the Expo 2020. The number of infections are going down. Vaccination rates are at all-time highs. So we have opened our doors for face-to-face business. Look forward to seeing some of you face-to-face in the following months. Till then, take care of yourself and stay safe. Please do give us feedback on this webinar. You can also download the recording from our website as well as our community portal, intersect365live.com. Any other feedback, or if you would like to explore any new topic, please send us an email at intersect@uae.messefrankfurt.com. I would like to say a big thank you to Robert Izak and Shakeel Parkar for taking us through this journey. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah. Thank you very much as well for the option to present. And also let me highlight, as Farhad said, we're going to be on January on the Intersect event exhibiting our solution. We're going to be as Innovatrics also in Dubai by end of the month for different exhibition. We're going to exhibit our solutions for seamless access, seamless Middle East, I'm sorry. So you are very welcome to come and see us, visit us. We're going to be by end of the month also in the Dubai, me personally as well. You're very welcome.
Thank you, Shakeel. Thank you, Robert.
Thank
See
you.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.